welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United.
Remember the comment he made?
I got some bars to these.
Run Ryan.
And everything. You have players out there.
I think the fellas will take it more serious.
No way. What grade?
That one at the go.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, right now, Manchester United are
Welcome, fellas. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to All In, All United. Nico, Simeon, JP, Phil, another Manchester derby, and I really don't think, it had the days when the El Clasico was like this big must-see kind of fixture, and you want to see that Barca Real game. Because you're talking about Xavi, Iniesta, you're talking about Zidane, R9, and it was real quality. And in not too recent times, it was the same for the Manchester derby. We had some good games. I will always remember that Rooney bicycle, the Van Persie free kick at the death. Some real classic moments in the Manchester derby, and now we have to sit down and watch what we watched today for 90 plus minutes. I was watching something, and they were saying that this looked more like a Kevin De Bruyne testimonial than, a Manchester derby now. But I mean, I remember last pod that I was saying this Man City team not in a real good place for us to really fear them to the extent where we are sure what will be the outcome. I think they were at a place where we could actually go and try to play football and get something out of it now. But anyway, so fellas, what we saying? How things? Let me get into this thing. Nico? All right, I think Nico looking like he's stick. Simeon, what are you saying, buddy?
Good. I mean, I was watching the match, you see, it wasn't a bad, for us, it wasn't really a bad game, but still, it left you wanting so much more. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, you watch this game and you see movements, you see, what they're trying to do, but at no point I felt like I was going to see somebody, put the ball at the back of the net. I just felt like it just wasn't that level, that level of, professionalism or just, talent, class just wasn't there. I'm looking for the word, but I can't find it. It's like, for us, it wasn't a bad game, but we know it. I mean, I think City was I didn't really like what I saw from City. I think this is one of the more weaker times I've seen us, seen them when they played us. I mean, I don't think we were too bad, but it just left you wanting so much more. So that's my whole impression of the game,
Yeah, Nico, you on?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Go through now. Thoughts on the game? So, well,
Okay.
initial intro. Yeah.
I heard you talk about the format of these, and how we still look forward to it. Even for instance, are you still hearing?
Go closer to the neighbor Wi-Fi, Nico.
You hearing?
Go closer to the window.
Just stick it a little bit.
Boy.
All right. So I think Nico getting some little issues there, right? So Phil, jump in now. See how soon before Nico sorts out himself.
Yeah, good night. For the first time in a long time, I actually was watching the Manchester Derby along with like a series at the same time as well. That's how kind of nonchalant and bored I was. I don't know what you guys, but TV over there, series right here, and I won't say the series I was watching, but the series was a tad bit more exciting than the Manchester Derby today. And I guess we'll dive deeper into the highlights of today. So
Yeah, JP, what about you?
Yeah, good night. I still waiting for the derby because I didn't see a derby today. That was I mean one of the worst Pep Guardiola Man Cities that we play, and we still couldn't take advantage of that and beat them. We were clearly the better team, I would say, but that still didn't count for nothing. We looked more threatening, and I'm going to say we created more chances, but we looked more threatening. I don't think Edison had much to do. Onana himself didn't have much to do. So it was just it was just a game. It looked like, and I was surprised because City still had something to play for. City still had to make sure they maintain at least a top five spot. We had nothing to play for, and we looked better than them today. So it was just a real surprisingly dull. Um, Yeah, almost like a preseason feel, as you say. I hear a few other people saying that too. At De Bruyne testimonial, that's what the game feel like. It didn't have any kind of intensity that you would expect from a derby, and it was just, to me, it was just a game today. And before I come on, I was thinking, what we want to talk about tonight? What happened in this game that we going to talk about tonight?
And you know, right, when I was sitting down with this agenda, and I'm trying to figure out what we gonna possibly talk about that we already covered that was so worthy of any different kind of discussion this evening. And all of the fellas here were gonna happen, right? We're gonna do some player ratings this evening, right? Based on the performance. I'm telling you, you know. Anyway, Nick, I don't know if you're on the inside, you're better off now.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
open
yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah, should
Nice.
be. Yeah. As I was saying, even going into this game, it isn't a big game now. That's what the play Manchester City. It just felt like another game. I don't know if it's because the expectation is so low, but it just felt like another game. And then after looking at the game, it just felt again like um, you just watch a game now. You feel like you felt like you waste a couple hours of your life, but I still felt that we were in control of the game. From start to finish. And that was the good part for me. I didn't feel threatened by City at all, and I think you're seeing some connections building, and I saw it as a training session. That's how I saw it, as a hind or a training session against another Premier League team. Where Amarin could sharpen up the sword for Leon on Thursday. And that's how I saw the game.
All right, interesting take. Interesting take. Doing on the inside, right? Doing Honore. He's saying Awo. I don't know if I pronounce that correct. Yeah, good night to you, man. All right, guys, don't forget to like and share the pod to get more people in on the content. All right. So fellas, before we go into player ratings, right? We just want to talk about the game a little bit. Right, and we'll see how it goes, and if we have enough time, we go do some player ratings, right? But team sheets, right? And thoughts on the game. And when we're doing that, right? I want to delve a little more into whether you all think just like the Nottingham Forest game, that Amorim overthinking the game, especially with how he's setting up his midfield pairing, right? The selection of the midfield pairing, right? Because there's a second game on the bounce, he had to take off Ugarte. And when you watch the game again, you feel that probably Ugarte, he not fitting what is being required of him, but he just not looking as though he fit in the bill right now, right? So go through now, team sheets, thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I'll go first. Again, seeing Garnacho on the left, there's kind of irky a little bit. And not seeing Zirkzee starting. I think definitely when you see the team sheet and you see that, I know Reem would have messaged me, and I got the message. It felt like a desperation Ten Hag move. I don't know if I feel it thunder there, but when you spoke about it, and then when I see it, I feel it. But in hindsight, I think he got the team sheet right. I mean, your guys might see different. I think in the first half we created enough chances to win the game in the first half with the selections that we had on the pitch, right? And if they took their chances, then the coach should have been vindicated in his selection, right? So I think the back three was more or less set. And again, when we get into the ratings, we talk about men like Euro, boy, different quality, boy, right? They know why they spend that money on that youth, man.
Yeah.
Because at 19 years old, whatever old he is, he's a proper baller, right?
Yep.
In the midfield with Casemiro and Ugarte, again, I know we in hindsight, but I would have liked for Bruno to fall back in the midfield. But I think Casemiro looking better. I think Casemiro maybe 99% of his challenges today, right? Even when he dive in, he 1 or 2 times. So I think he got the midfield right. And again, we spoke about Garnacho, right? We spoke about Garnacho starting on the left, but he was a threat, right? He was a threat, but again, not taking his chances. And Ugarte coming off, I think Amorim saw blood. He saw that we could have won the game, and I think he made some decent changes. I think even his substitutes came on maybe a bit too late. I think Zirkzee could have come on a bit earlier, because when Zirkzee came on, you saw a bit more quality up top. As much as he was playing number 9, he was a threat when he came onto the field, and even he could have scored. So I think he got the team sheet right overall, after, in hindsight. But of course, and also what I'm seeing is that for some reason he doesn't like Zirkzee in that 10 years playing. Because if he thought Zirkzee was doing a job for him in that 10, Zirkzee are in that 10 today. So whatever profile he looking for in that 10, I guess he do like Zirkzee in it. But from the games he was looking at before, Zirkzee to me was the better 10 in the team, right? But I guess Amorim have a different approach to what a number 10 is supposed to do and what he's supposed to look like.
Simeon, go through now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree. The Zirkzee thing was kind of, head scratching. But I was trying to reason it in my head that he was trying maybe saving him or for for Leon. But Kareem tell me he's like, that's on Thursday. All of us gotta play. So yeah, I mean, I guess you guys are right with Zirkzee. It might be an issue with where Zirkzee is supposed to play. I know Rasmus can't be the number 1 striker the whole time. Otherwise he would have them playing balls to Rasmus, when Rasmus make runs. I mean, I look at that team and today, and the play was better than the play sheet. the team played better than what I thought they were gonna play. They played differently than I thought they were gonna play. Like much more patterns, much more, flowing football, ball go from side to side. I think the team definitely tackled a lot better. The whole team tackled and recovered better today. So I think that's probably a focus for last week because they definitely, got back as a team and defended as a team. Um, I Rasmus, he saw today. I mean, it's two things could be true. He not that good, and also they don't play for him. A lot of times he get the ball in good spots and they never pass the ball to him. So I don't know what we're gonna do with him at the end of the year, but right now it ain't working out. Ganacho, well, Ganacho does what Ganacho does. He flashes and then at the end we don't see a lot. I mean, first minute of the game we kind of get. I mean, he had a chance to pass the ball to Rasmus. I mean, we don't get enough efficiency when we get into penalty box from Ganacho. But as you say, he's our best, most threatening attacker. So you know, we saw Dogu, who we really want to do well, do a whole bunch of mess. It's tough because he fit the profile, but again, we get to a point where you figure you're Manchester United, you could buy complete players or players with not just one or two, key qualities, kind of like in FIFA, when you're trying to get a player for cheap, you want to get a player that suits your playing style, but you want that finishing to be over 75, that passing to be over 60, and sometimes you ain't getting that, So I mean, you look at this team today. We played well, but the missing piece is all how and it's been this way for a while. Is the finishing, So but we can't get too greedy. We've seen progress. That's what we want to see. So it's a decent game today. It was progress.
All right. And before Phil come in, let me just get this comment here from Javid on the inside. Thanks for joining, man. Glory, Man United. We are stepping in the right direction. Hated. It was a pointless derby with not much fight. However, we are improving. Some positives. We actually tackled with sense today. All right. Yeah. Phil.
Yeah. About the lineup today. I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta pick your best starting 11 who's available to you, right? Because we saw, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that the lit won't be in the match day squad. But I mean, I'm probably the only person in this Man United fan base that when I saw Luke Shaw will be back in the squad, I wasn't excited. I wasn't. Luke Shaw back in the squad, whoop to do. Whatever. Right? And yeah. Ruben Amorim just picked his best 11 from a set of players who he think are competent, who are better decision makers, right? But that goes to show you how far we've fallen, right? I think that our best player today was Casemiro. He definitely put in a shift today when it came to that defensive midfield in terms of like breaking the play and what's not. It's funny because before the Manchester Derby, we put 13 goals past lead. And I said, boy, if the team could get inspired from that, the first team could get inspired from our academy players putting 13 goals past lead. Now after that derby, I just want to ask the team that play leagues, can we borrow 1 or 2 goals? We'll pay you back, but can we borrow 1 or 2 goals? Because the Manchester Derby today it wasn't one for the books. It will be written off. It's not none of the teams are in the top 4. none of the teams are fighting for any domestic. Actually, no. City's still fighting for a domestic trophy. But I mean, in terms of the PL, none of the teams are fighting for the EPL because the EPL has already been won. And I kind of more disappointed with City because you saw that one of your biggest legends announced that he's leaving at the end of the season. So why not just put on a final big hoorah against Manchester United? Don't mind Kevin De Bruyne was shit today, but at the end of the day, Manchester City, I expected more of them. Sure, Erling Haaland is out, but I mean, Marmoush was still causing. Marmoush has a different playing style to Erling Haaland, right? I find that Marmoush is a bit mobile and a bit more skillful than Haaland as well, too, right? But yeah, I guess we got to talk more about Lenny Euro as well, too. Lenny Euro definitely is the future of Manchester United. I like what I saw today. I'm a bit more confident that if he does start versus Lyon on Thursday, that he would show up. And also Mazraoui today. Mazraoui was pretty good as well too. Mazraoui making last ditch tackles and running past players as well too. Yeah, definitely shout out to him as well too, right? But Højlund was inconsistent, but there are parts of his game today that he did well in, and then the other parts you're like, well, I mean, that's the old Højlund back, right? I was talking with some other United fans today. I think we all agreed on the point that Garnacho cannot be part of our starting 11 come next season. He can't. There must be somebody he comes on for in the 2025-2026 EPL season. He has to come on for somebody, right? He will get plays. He will get little stints in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, but that's it. Dorgu as well. I'm going to be a bit lenient with Dorgu from now to the rest of the season, but during the off season, he definitely has a lot of work to be done for him. His final ball definitely needs to be worked on, and there's a raw talent there. I can see that for sure, right? But if Dorgu wants to cement a place as our starting left back come next season, he has a lot of work to do in the off season, right? Who else? Ugarte had me pissed off today. The players that normally piss me off played well today, and the players who normally play well was pissing me off today, right? Ugarte was definitely his decision making could have been better today. There were points where he was giving away the football as well too. There was points where he was anticipating a pass, and the pass actually came, and then he did nothing for it. So I'm kind of not surprised he got hooked today, right? And as Nico said earlier, I think Bruno should play deeper. You play that number 8 position. And something I got to call out today with regards to what both Pep and Ruben Amorim did today. They both made subs, and their most creative player on each side dropped deep. Bruno dropped deep to play in that 8, so did Kevin De Bruyne, right? Because Kevin De Bruyne dropped deep, then that means Dorku and Jack Grealish got to play for higher up. I was a bit worried when Victor Lindelof came on, because when Harry Maguire went off, I said, oh Jesus, I hope he's being saved for Lyon, because Victor Lindelof is a liability. He will be one of the people coming saying so long farewell in this summer, right?
But you saw the run back from Maguire before you get hooked? Before you get sub? When you try to run back?
The run back.
When you try to run back, you saw you pull a hamstring. You see that run?
Oh, I see that run. I can be honest with you, Nico, today. When I tell you I was watching the Manchester Derby and a series here as well. That is how it was today, bro. I was just looking back and forth between the game and my series, right? The game was not one that I was excited about today,
Right.
right? So I hope Maguire is fit. I hope Delit is fit for Leon. And this team definitely has to show some passion versus Leon on Thursday. There's 2 matches I'm watching in the upcoming week. I could do a hate along for Real Madrid and Arsenal, and then our game versus Leon. No, I have no shame. I'm doing a hate along. I'm going to be at work and I'm going to be watching. Because this to go off top a little bit. Arsenal fans were excited that the potential of Vinny and Rudiger and Mbappe would have got a ban. And lo and behold, nope, they will be available for the first leg. But Gabriel Magalhaes is out. So anyway, I will never wish injury on a player.
Oh, that's
But
gonna be
yeah,
them. Anyway,
this week hit along and Manchester United versus Leon. So yeah.
Yeah. JP, go through now.
Yeah, team. Um, the back three picked itself. Monana. I have another problem in the midfield and the tinkering that Amarim do with the team because I feel like something was working before the international break. Hoyland finally scored a goal. You change it against Nottingham. You come and you change it again today, where you're reverting to switching between Zirkzee and Hoyland. Zirkzee was showing us what we miss in the 10 since Ahmad get injured by being a player controlling that position, dropping deeper, collecting the ball, bringing us into play, driving forward, doing things that none of the other 10s would do it. You decide Zirkzee is a striker again. And it get a little annoying with Amarim because you're here long enough to know. You're there long enough to know, and then Chido wasting on the bench when you're doing that. Better Chido stay with the 18s and your regular game time. Because just to go off topic a little bit, in the FA Youth Cup, Chido was looking rusty in that team. I watched the game and he was looking rusty because we have him on the bench, you know, getting minutes again, he just training and he not getting game time. So better you leave Chido if you're going to have Zirkzee and Hoyland rotating because Chido not going to get 2 minutes if that's what he's doing. Back to the team selection. Ugarte and Casemiro in our midfield, it making Ugarte now look like he's not a good player because we asking Ugarte to play the more box-to-box role because Casemiro is holding the deeper position. Ugarte is supposed to be the deeper midfielder, cleaning up, collecting the ball, passing it forward. That is all we need Ugarte to do. But Ugarte is the midfielder who is running further forward now. And that is not his game. When Ugarte was playing with Bruno and he cleaning up and passing the ball forward, we were singing his praises. Now we're talking about Ugarte had to come off because he playing in a position that is not his position. Yes, Casemiro having good games, but instead of changing between Zirkzee and Hoyland, change between Casemiro and Ugarte. It's either one or the other, playing next to Bruno, who has been more effective in the 8s, in the deeper position. Keep Zirkzee as a 10. If he insists on Garnacho, keep Garnacho as the 10 on the right hand side. In this game, I understand why Garnacho would have had to play because he is the only real speed merchant we have in the team right now. So to get them balls over the top, it's going to show you what to look for. And we saw it in the first 14 seconds of the game, and he still didn't make the best decision when he reached where he reached. So you have somebody who could just run fast, get past people, but then don't know what to do with it. So I honestly, yes, we look the better team today. Yes, we control the game better. Yes, we had the better chances, but I find how much months now into Amram's reign, he's still tinkering with players in the position. After you see you put them somewhere and they're doing well in the position and then you revert into playing them somewhere else. So just like with Kobe before he get injured, when Kobe played a great game as a 10, and then all of a sudden he's a false 9. Them kind of thing, he here too long for that. He here too long for that. And I don't want to see that happening. I think you want some kind of ball retention on the field. The first half we couldn't hold on to the ball for nothing. And he has Xerxes long on the bench. I really thought Amram would have been the type of coach who more interested in technically gifted players. But he has Xerxes on the bench. I don't understand it, right? And I think to me that was my biggest peeve today. And then hearing people talking about Ugarte and how Ugarte not looking good, and I'm thinking, yeah, but Ugarte is not a box midfielder. Casemiro looking, and look who looking better. So Casemiro getting the praises that Ugarte was getting before because Casemiro being used properly in the position that he plays in, and Ugarte now is getting the slag that Casemiro was getting because he not playing in the position that he's supposed to be playing in. So it's not making sense. Right? And then you start to wasting our sub because you had to push Bruno deeper in any event. So Bruno ended up playing almost every game now, starting as a 10 and then dropping as a 8. I make up your mind, Robert. Make up your mind. We too far into your reign now. We had this proper players too long now. For to still be doing that chopping and changing things. We ain't getting nothing out of Erasmus. Keep him on top, let him occupy defenders. Then Xerxes come behind him and bring others into play and see if he could bring some balls to Erasmus for him to start to score. Just stick to that now. Just stick to that. Give it a good few games, let it run out, let it play, and stick to it, and we see how it work out. Don't see it was working, you get a break and then you decide you change it. Because I don't like that. I don't like that. And I'm really hoping that going forward, we don't have to go through this kind of frustration if we get, because there's a concern when you think about the specialist kind of players that we need in the team to suit the system, the specialist 10s, the specialist wing backs. You don't wonder if the pace of the Premier League suitable to the kind of work that a wing back will have to do in the Premier League as opposed to just playing right back and you have proper cover, or playing left back and you have proper cover. So it have plenty of things that we have to consider going forward in this team. And that's when I find on Dogu, because Dogu come in January. He come from Italian league where that is basically just playing slow motion. So he had to come up to the speed of the Premier League now. So I will give him until the next season to really start to see what he brings to the team. But players like Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund, two of them for sure. I think we had to show the exit. We had to show them the exit because when Xerxes come on for Rasmus, I don't think nobody else playing more for Xerxes. I don't think the players do anything different to say that is how Xerxes get involved and that is how Xerxes get shot. It had a pass I think Casemiro was making to Rasmus in the box. I watching Rasmus on his heels. He not anticipating, he not seeing where Casemiro is and trying to pull off from the defender to make a little room and then go towards the ball. He not doing those things. So therefore, he just not good enough. It's not to do with the players not passing to him. He just not good enough. So I think he and Garnacho, the two players, for me, not Manchester United quality.
I really like the analysis you make with the Casemiro and Ugarte and why Ugarte qualities are being nullified. I really and I've seen that, so I think point well taken.
Yeah.
As far as the Erasmus people in passing to him, yeah, I mean, you're right and you're wrong at the same time. You're right. You're right. They passed it to him because he ain't good enough. So there you go. I mean, it's tough on him, but I mean, I see he get a ball in a good spot, and the pass he made, simple pass, went out of bounds.
Outside.
And Garnacho started through behind, and I vexed with Garnacho, but at the same time, it's like that pass he should make.
Yeah.
You know.
And then he just jogging the shit.
Yeah.
My thing is this earlier. I really find it almost seems as it's an illness that managers when they come into Man United, it is just contract. Right? Because I mean, you all mentioned it before. We were hoping that Amarim would have come in and appreciate the technical players. He would have look at attacking football, possession-based football, and that kind of thing. And it's like every single, and I remember in the early days it was the same thing with Ten Hag. But then they all revert to preferring the players who just run a lot, who physical, and then the players who more technical just be suffering on the bench. And for Ten Hag, we know about Ahmad and what Ahmad had to go through. Right? And we see it now where, again in a Manchester derby, and this is not me, not appreciating, who Manchester United City are, but they at a place now where they're not good. Right? And if you do your homework as a manager should, you could see, well, hey, we could beat this team, and we don't even have to play counter-attacking football to do that. Now, fair play, counter-attacking football, it show, some positives, it show opportunities, but you had the wrong players on the pitch to make it work. So why we don't try to play football, right, against City? Because I'm telling you, over all the years, them time with Aguero and David Silva and the younger Gundogan, you couldn't joke with them. You could not have played that kind of. You can't play football against that City team. But you see this City team here, all I see in Bournemouth running them joking. So why it is we feel we need to come off and sit back with Casemiro and Ugarte and launch the ball for Garnacho to go there and frustrate people. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what is disappointing for me, to see how Amorim approached our game today. Right? Again, and I think JP, sum it up. So I don't really want to repeat it. For something that was working with Bruno and Casemiro, Bruno and Ugarte. Then we had Zirkzee, we had Højlund occupying defenders, run about and have Ruben Dias and them running left and right, but you were seeing something happening with how the team was building the football, and we played with a little more, freedom. We are sitting back. Because through Zirkzee, we could afford to hold the ball high up a little bit. We gained some nice retention, some nice ball movement, and they just throw it down the drain to satisfy Garnacho. Yeah. And it's disappointing, it's discouraging, because when I thought Amorim, would coach these players into playing a particular way, I seeing where he caved in just like all the managers that went before to play counter-attacking football. And
so the only thing to that, right, Reem, is that he don't trust the players he has on his hands, right? Because again, only one or two players are his players, right? And he would have a few months in the team. As much as we're saying he could coach a team, I think he do not trust this bunch of players to go and play front foot football against a Manchester City team.
But you see, we do it before.
Go ahead.
We do it before. I've seen this team
with under Amorim.
Yeah, I've seen this team play a little better, right? Some front foot football, and I mean, it wasn't in its purest form,
right?
But you were seeing where, okay, so if we continue with this, and the fellas, get a little more muscle memory in doing this, playing this position, playing this way, we would have seen some fruit.
Yeah, but then he don't trust them. But he don't trust them. He don't trust them.
Against Liverpool is toe-to-toe. We went to the we play front foot with against Liverpool.
Because that was more reflex than what he sent them out to do.
You think so, buddy?
Yes, for sure. What I'm saying is we could more, and I agree with you, but I think we could more critically or judge him when he has more of his players. And if he's doing it when he has more of his players, is to back him in in the summer, then we could say, well, then we could really be critical now.
So basically, what you're saying is we just have to sit down and take whatever we get. Let Ruben Amorim overthink things until he get his own players.
Until the end of the season. I mean, to me,
I gotta follow
we had to give him a leeway too, because just like
No,
Dogo
me-
coming into the team,
Right.
we still have to give him a bit of leeway, new to the league, new to these players as well. We see that he don't trust these players. I think we still have to give him a bit of a leeway. Phil, you're going to say something?
Yeah. I want you guys to dissect the comment I'm about to make. Great long passes can be seen as cowardice, and I'll tell you why. Because Bruno can make a great long pass to Garnacho or whoever's on the wing from deep, and then all game we can see Garnacho do nothing with the football or whoever is on the right side, nothing. So you can pinpoint your pass from deep to Garnacho all the time, which kind of is counter-attacking football. But you, as the engine room of the team, you have to realize, well, my two wide players or my forward aren't doing anything with the football. Let me try something different, i.e. progress in the football, right? It could be seen as cowardice because, well, I passed the ball to Garnacho. He did nothing with it. You can't blame me. I passed the ball to him.
Then Maguire does do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because there are a couple of candidates today that were doing pinpoint passes that were great passes, but at the end of the day, we saw that not only just this game but other games, Garnacho and sometimes Hoyland weren't doing anything with the football, right? So you, as now a leader of the team, why not progress the football? Why not look to build up the football with regards inside of the middle of the park? How Nottingham Forest score on us? Not by long ball. They gave the ball to Alanga and run. And he ran from deep. He didn't run from within our box. He ran from he didn't wait for the ball to come up to him. He actually took the ball and ran from deep and did something with it. Right? I think that you have to some players have to switch up their play instead of just depending on long ball, right? Because we're going to get found out. We got found out under Ten Hag, and I don't want to revert to us playing this counter-attacking football when everything is against us, right? I'm quite curious as to how we're going to play away to Lyon on Thursday for sure, definitely. But we'll see.
And our next thing too, right? You know, you're seemingly so heavily dependent on Garnacho pace. But when you watch all your other 10s, Garnacho is the only player at our profile. You understand? So does that mean now we are going to sit and stomach for the rest of the season because you trust the team? You know what I'm saying? So I think Amorim have a lot more qualities that he could utilize that may seem to fit the way he wants to play than to just don't trust the team and play that kind of gung-ho football. Because to the point that Phil made just now, right? I see them fellas launching ball and Casemiro's the next one too, all of them call, right?
Yeah.
Casemiro giving players the ball over the top is a good pass, but when when that player received the ball, is he alone? Where you want him to do? Be true to team men and score. And by the time he tried to look for a back pass, it's because he don't get caged by the City players already. So that was saying sometimes these long balls that will be good on the stat sheet as a successful pass, it's not a sensible pass. You understand what I'm saying?
So could that be instruction though? Because if we've seen it like that, then that could be instruction. Because to Phil's point where he's saying the players could do something different. When you listen to Rio talk about it in his time at United, and Joel Bear will always ask him if the players ever on the field went against Fergie instructions on the field. And he said, the confidence level that team had, it was a rare occasion that they would do that. They would take the risk to go against what the manager instructs. And if it work, it work. If it don't work, you get a ball up. I don't think this team at a place where they're going to play their own football and do their own thing.
I think Casemiro does the own thing.
No instruction.
No, I think Casemiro does the own thing. I think Casemiro have a muscle memory. You see that kind of over the top kind of
That
pass,
pass, yeah.
You see that pass?
Yeah,
That is a muscle memory pass.
Yeah.
Because
but he
only,
middle name.
only for
He
Manchester,
middle name.
only for Manchester United. For Real, look, when this guy was playing at Real Madrid, is when the ball give it off to Modric and Cruz and let them do their
Nah,
thing.
but he used to play that pass. He used to play that pass for Real
Nah,
Madrid.
Not
yeah,
often
but-
for Real Madrid, not
But
often.
we had a little more quality. But that pass, well, I mean, that's a real luck and chance pass. And sometimes today we see we get it wrong. We
Yeah.
see we get it wrong. To me, that is not the manager. That is his signature pass. And as he get the ball in a certain position, he got us know, well, I think it have a player over there. So let me try to thing it over. Let me try to chip it over, however that chip it passes. But sometimes it just come off. No, sometimes it just come off.
Yeah,
And sometimes it is, and sometimes when it don't come off, it look foolish. It look like you just give away the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we didn't score, but I don't think. I mean, yeah, it was mostly counter attack, but I thought we had some good gameplay. In both halves. I mean, I think it was compared to what we have seen from this team. I don't think the build-up play was that bad at all. I mean, for the most part, it was mostly the finishing. So I mean, yeah, I mean, Xerxes definitely takes the team up a notch, but given the team that was out there, I thought they did well in attack. I mean, you want to see more pass through the midfield, but the way that Ugarte is playing right now, it's just not gonna. Look at Casemiro and Ugarte. I don't see anyone of them really carrying the ball like you want to see him carrying the ball. Ugarte look like he's going backwards right now. That's kind of, I don't know. I think he went to if it was this international break or one before he went and he came back just going backwards. But we need right now, if it's Bruno back there playing play for a back, or if it's Manu coming back, we need somebody to carry the ball in midfield. Otherwise, you will have the long balls to the wing backs,
But
all day.
You know that positive from that inability for Casemiro and Ugarte to carry the ball. Euro carrying the ball and Mazraoui. You see much time Euro progress that ball today?
Yep.
No, I don't know if that is out of frustration because nobody wants to carry the ball.
Nah, that was instruction.
You understand? But I was seeing Euro taking the ball and going through the line with the ball to try to carry the play up the field. Because I tell you earlier, after a while, those long balls will not work and it will be easy to predict and easy to cut out, especially when you have the likes of a Garnacho receiving the long ball. Because it was so easy to take that ball off Garnacho this morning. It was so easy. Every time Garnacho get a ball, you play on him and he gonna try some nonsense. It force him to make a bad pass or he gonna lose that ball. So these long balls, it have time and place. I'm not trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It have time and place. But when that is all you're doing, right, and you can't get to progress the ball through the middle of the park, and you only depend on your right center back to at least try to carry the ball forward, you're in trouble.
And you know full well that if I give this long ball to Hoyland or Garnacho, the likelihood of them doing something is going to be slim. If I had a guy like
Hoyland not even winning that ball. Let me just put that down, right? Hoyland not winning it. At least Garnacho out right, he will get before he take off him.
No, if I had a guy like if I playing long ball to like a Mateta or a Drogba back in the day, or even Ivan Toney, I know for sure they're gonna do something with it, whether it's hold up the football for other players to come in to the frame, or even dribble past one or two defenders to go and test the keeper, whether it's a shot on target or if they score a goal. But I don't see, like, even let me go back to the Forest game just for 1 minute, right? I see Xerxes lay off the perfect ball to Garnacho. The perfect ball to Garnacho, and lo and behold, nothing. I saw it happen today with regards to Garnacho being played through as well. Nothing. And
that's when they blame Xerxes for not passing the ball good enough to. the commentator blames Xerxes in that instance because Garnacho get the ball and lose the ball, but Xerxes didn't pass the ball good enough for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anybody
They
else
just protect-
thinking? Sorry, but anybody else thinking that was a penalty today? I don't know, but I know Reeves was saying something.
It was on the edge of the box, no?
But you used to back a replay of that yet?
Yeah, I see it. I don't know, boy. I don't know. I don't know. I see it back, and I don't know. Yeah,
Tight.
I
But
don't know.
it's definitely
But
a
I know for
foul. But I
sure-
mean, where it is in the box, I don't think it's in the box. It may be on the edge.
Just could be on the white line, right?
I don't find the referee got any decisions wrong today. He could have booked Bernardo Silva early, but other than that, I don't think referee get anything wrong today per se. I could be wrong. So
No, but I find that at least I didn't even show it enough to let the fans have a to say, all right, it's really not a pen, or it's a pen now.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. At some point in time today, I think after the 50th or 60th minute, I wanted any team to score. Please, I want to just score. I don't care if it's City, I don't care if it's us. Just make the match more entertaining. I don't care who scored. I was so bored that I got vexed at City for giving her the football. That's how bored it was.
No, but what say, right? Even when Diaz, right, when the suspect was a handball, when he went down and he chest the ball and he fall. Watch how much time to show back that.
Yeah, but the first one that had the show, yeah, it's true.
No, I find that very questionable. I find that was very questionable.
As you mentioned, Diaz, there might, a player gets a yellow card after 14 seconds. The instruction's supposed to be on to terrorize this man.
Yeah. Well, let's be running past it there. That's confusing. They kick down somebody else. You know what I mean?
14 seconds and nobody trouble him man after that. He play whole game.
Yeah.
Whole game he play.
Remember Rasmus you're dependent on too, eh?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's making sense.
Yeah.
What were the Casemiro one? Waiting, he made contact. Waiting, that was a penalty.
I find that was a penalty.
Yeah, you kick on the foot. To me, you kick on the foot, but
yes, you get kick on the foot. If that was in the other box, I didn't know. If that was
in
the other box.
They're watching it about 10 times.
That was the minority report on that,
If it is we kick down Bernardo Silva, like how we kick down Garnacho on top of that box today, that was a penalty earlier.
Yeah, the referee pointed.
That would have been a penalty, and then they would have checked it and say, all right, it's still inconclusive, so we'll go with the referee.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Jesus actually on the inside. Thanks for joining, man. He's saying first derby missing decades. I wish we did a double over them. I mean, that was the hope, right? The hope, and I think City was definitely taken, but whatever, right?
What you missed was a solid United team, and I must say that. It was a solid. We didn't look fragile at all during the game.
Yeah. Eric on the inside, thanks for joining, man. He's saying at this point, for me, Fred looking better than Ugarte. But I mean, I want to be fair to Ugarte. Perhaps what he being asked to do a task to do now. It really stretching him. So I mean, my hope is that Bruno go back in the 6 or 8 or whatever position that is, and rotate Casemiro and Ugarte. And let me do something else going up, man. I mean, one thing, Nicole, you didn't mention that I'm a little bit concerned about is the fact that you say the manager to rate Xerxes in the 10. It's a little bit concerning because from what we saw before the international break, I think, and for a manager who say he just see the little thing, to not recognize, what that player was offering in the 10. Then I had a question.
But you've seen that. No, but you've seen that because it's 2 games to come back since the international break, and Xerxes hasn't played in the 10.
But then, I'm a 1-9
Nah, see, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. Tell Kareem, y'all need to stop. I tell Kareem already. I can't entertain that kind of questions right now. We already going through one manager this season. I don't want to think about.
No.
I don't want to worry. I don't want to think about Amarim this early. My
It's early.
my head
It's
can't
early,
take
eh?
it.
It's
My
early.
head
No, but
can't
what I'm
take
saying,
it.
right? What I'm saying, right? Me saying I'm
Start the
out, you know.
carry. Don't start now.
No, I ain't saying I'm out, you know, but he frightening me because he will go next season and we go start to see Kobe born out in the 10 and he will play the first 9 again. You understand what I'm saying? And it's that kind of bottom thing that was what does do me in, right? All right, that's what I said. I ain't saying I'm out, right? Nico don't say the man need he players, right? So anyway, so fellas, let me I want to talk about Casemiro, right? Because Casemiro earlier, over the past couple of weeks, has really he I don't know if he changed Amorim mind. You know, I don't know what different Amorim doing with Casemiro that, you know, has now, you know, shown Amorim something different. But I think, in my opinion, Casemiro had a start in games, right? That's just how I see it right now. I think Casemiro had a start, right? Because Casemiro it's like a resurgence. Because you know, we were hearing talk that Casemiro is not part of the plan. Casemiro sitting on the bench and eat humble pie for weeks until that game when Ugarte get injured. I can't remember who we played and Ugarte get injured and Casemiro came in. And since then, Casemiro looked back. What difference is Casemiro doing to cause Amorim now to see him in this new light?
I think JP spell it out real nicely. You know, is that Amorim played him, he's supposed to be playing as a central defensive midfielder.
But he was playing that before, right?
No, but he was also tasked with somebody attacking plays. No, he is not tasked with that. No, he is mainly tasked with defend the back. Ugarte now is the man who being forced to create, which he don't have.
Yeah.
I saw Ugarte in a position today, and if it was a proper attacking midfielder in that position, he'd at least shoot. Because you see him getting balls where attacking midfielder would have gotten and shoot, and he's not sure what to do with it. So Casemiro playing where he's comfortable playing, and I guess he has a better confidence as well at the moment, because you see all Casemiro tackles today you win. It had some where he dive in and I cover my eyes, so I want to watch. I see he get the ball. I say what? You know, but I think Amorim playing him how he most comfortable, but he playing Ugarte where he's least comfortable. I think JP did sum it up real nice.
I think I think also it could be just the overall system and the players around him getting better, because you're seeing the commitment to defense of the whole squad. People getting back and being, you know, if you're running back and you have to worry about two men, you know, he might be trying to cover a bigger space. If he's got one guy to worry about, because Dogu back there, or Dallo reaching back, or Euro, 2 steps right there. So it could be that the whole team and whole system is more secure, so you know exactly where you need to be. So, I mean, Casemiro, and he didn't miss much. The tackles. I think the I don't know if it's just that we were compact, but the tackles he made, were nice and neat, and it was hardly any space in that team to really get through, because men was not just Casemiro, not just Ugarte, because you remember it's Ugarte and Casemiro, 2 actual tacklers in midfield. You have Dogu on one side, Dallo. Dallo, okay. I mean, I think the tackling overall for this team, defense for this whole team is just more solid today, and that really showed. So yeah, I think Casemiro will do better where he's not the only man back there trying to backpedal and make a wild tackle.
So is it, Simeon, that the fact that Ugarte there helping Casemiro, but the fact that Casemiro playing Ugarte position, he looking out of place. So is it that we need to leave Ugarte there for Casemiro to continue to look good? Is it that way? That's what you say? Because I mean, I agree with you. Defensively, we have been a lot more assured, right? Because we don't really concede chances. But is it as a result of Ugarte and Casemiro being there, or is it as a result of the entire team as a unit defending? So basically, we're asking you, if we move out Ugarte, do you think we'll still maintain that level of shape and solidity defensively?
The way they look today, I think they can. I mean, like I said, that having certain players like Euro and Euro, that'll look good today. I mean, I think
Mazraoui as well. Mazraoui just come and really help.
Mazraoui always in the right spot. Those type of players, those kind of mental players who you hardly find out of place. And Euro with his speed, shoot, I haven't seen Maguire make a really bad other place today either. So I think, and just where we play, I think we even though we lost the ball, like the speed at which we recover, even Garnacho, you see Garnacho trying to get back and tackle, more effort in his tackles. And that's the overall team defense, and that's why people like Rashford and Sancho probably can't play for Amorim, because if you defense, that starts way up the field. Once you start, having players who give up on plays once they lose the ball, and that man running free, then the whole team start to whole defense start to fall apart. So I think the overall increased intensity in defense is helping not just Casemiro, but everybody else in there. I mean, I ain't seen Maguire struggle hardly, besides the misplaced pass, but I didn't see him really struggle at all today.
Yeah. Next one, Dorgu. Now I know all I talk about Dorgu being young and I had time for him, right? I had time for him, man, right? Yeah. But I don't think his life at United started, in a real positive way, in my opinion, right? This is not me saying sell the man, so don't get me wrong. But I just feel as though, it may be unfair to him, because we come from Syria and we are going to play every game, use our first and only left back choice. But you see that combination, and I said it to you all, you see that combination of Dorgu and Garnacho on the left side. I think that's a recipe for disaster. It has not worked, right? And because of one player, and I ain't even bother to call him name, right, Garnacho, that will never work because he's too damn selfish, right? The way he plays, it's like you cannot predict what Garnacho going to do. The one time Garnacho do the right thing, we create a chance today. When Dorgu make the overlap, Garnacho played him, he actually played him, and he cut it in, and we got shot on target, right? But I get the feeling as though we suffering from a lot of inexperience and low IQ on that left-hand side.
Immaturity.
Yeah.
Immaturity.
But that's going to be us next season as well too, and I'll tell you why. Because the players that we being linked with are all, I sorry to say it, but the low IQ and they are inexperienced. We linked with a bunch of players that are between the age of 17 and 20 years old as well too. The only player that we've been linked with that has probably a high IQ is Gaio Correz. But other than that, any players that are being linked with Manchester United, well, this guy Hugo Eteke, he seems decent as well too, right? But other than that, we link with a bunch of players with low IQ and inexperience. Now, who's to say that IQ can't get higher and their experience, obviously, with game time, they will definitely take to the Premier League like a fish in water, right? But at the current moment, we're being linked with players that are not familiar with the Premier League, not familiar with the standards of Manchester United come this summer transfer window. So we got to expect that for the first at least 5 to 10 games next season. So we can be possibly sitting on the pod in September and mid-October saying the exact same thing until Amorim has the players doing what he wants, right?
No, we need experience. I mean, I say these were experience. We need accountability up there. We need somebody that, you know, when you do shit, will tell you to do shit, but not throw a fit. Like, hey, that ball in the back of the net, or hey, I need a go pass, you know, pass it back. Like little things. Like I feel like we have no accountability on this team. And at the same time, when you have players like Garnacho and Dogu, who final, you know, final ball or finish not good, it's hard for any of them to really tell each other, "Hey, stop doing shit." You know, we have that kind of chemistry going on with our team, so ain't nobody hold nobody really accountable. You have Bruno, but Bruno, his leadership kind of, you know, that's a different discussion, but we have no established front man up there to direct things in the way it should go, demand the ball or even coach. You know, I think that's a big problem for us right now.
My when I talk about Phil, when I talk about the experience, I wasn't really knocking the experience, but I was saying if you have that level of inexperience there, it may serve you better to pair it with a little more experience, if not intelligence now. You know,
I think with
and that's basically the point I was making. You know?
And if you have arrogance with inexperience, you definitely need somebody else with experience and leadership next to you.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna play over 100 games to United already, so gonna
Yeah.
experience player. We can't say he inexperienced anymore, but he's not an intelligent player. I think that is quite apparent, and I think you would get even more out of Dogu if you have a player who could be on the same wavelength with him, because that, as I was saying earlier, too, with these wing back positions, when you have to be patrolling the whole left flank and you're running up and you're not getting the ball from Garnacho, that taking it from your mentally too, you know, because physically you done as a wing back, you have to do some of the most running on the feet. And when you make that overlap and Garnacho constantly ignoring you, then it mentally is like he checking out in the game, because like I run up here and I'm expecting to get the ball. So when he get the ball, it's almost like a surprise, and then he had to quickly sit down and so what he doing with it. And Garnacho, to me, has not adapted to the inside rule properly as yet. So playing that 10, he still want to be going out and then cutting in. So he's still doing the same things. He's not holding like an inside position too. So I think the problem on the left hand side is more Garnacho than Dogu. Yes, Dogu making some mistakes, but it's because he do have the chemistry with the 10 on that side. And again, we're talking about, I will bring back Zirkzee here, because you were starting to see Zirkzee doing better things on that side, and Garnacho was being less selfish on the right hand side. But then he's switching back, and even Amorim talked about it before, about why he had Garnacho on the right side was making more sense and whatever. And then they come and bring him back on the left. He know, and they bring him back on the left now, and you're seeing where
the selfishness.
the game change. He's selfish. He don't know when to pass. He don't know when to shoot. You had Dogu running up and down to no avail, because he not being used on that side. So there's a lot of things to sort out with that left hand side, and I just think it's best about having, if you have Zirkzee there, if you have even Kobe there, you would see a huge difference in terms of what Dogu is doing.
Yeah.
Even Monk might help, and I don't know.
Even Mount, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Wait, so Nico could mention Mount. I didn't get that. No Nobody see nothing. When I mention Mount, everybody
No, then.
No. No. Watch man. It's always
when I say Mount, everybody, yay!
No. Simeon, it's always circumstantial. Correct? No, we
Yeah, we desperate.
Garnacho.
We desperate.
Okay,
We
all right.
desperate.
We just
All
want
right.
somebody else now, boy.
All right,
We
all right,
desperate.
all right.
We desperate. That desperation.
All right.
Yeah. Eric saying here, I would love for us to sign Oshimen along with Premier League proven players, but I'm hearing Ineos prefer youth because of potential and resale value. I mean, right now everything is just reports. We don't know because we don't know. I think we need some quality, but I also think with budget, I prefer 4 decent players as opposed to one big player and they don't know how he could fit. So let me see how it goes.
But we had to get some experience in that striking position, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
We can't go with no inexperience and no, we can't do that. Can't do that.
Anyway, we gonna have that conversation next time, right?
Yeah.
Because I cannot see it differently.
Chelsea. We will end up like Chelsea if you see this stick to this hard and fast policy and signing young players.
Yeah.
We will end up like Chelsea. You
No, we
still have to
need
bring some
that-
experience.
Yeah,
in
we
that
need
team.
experience forward, boy. You see, the
Yeah.
staff forward position, we need quality up there, boy.
Yeah. So wrapping it, guys. Leon, how will you feel going into the Leon game? Any changes to today, starting 11 that you would personally make? Some good news is that Kobe, back when Amorim spoke, he did say that Kobe is an option for Leon. He said we'll see how it goes, but Kobe is an option for Leon. We see Chubby come back and he will match the squad for the second day on the bungs. Ahmad is close. So how will you see the Leon game going first leg and what changes you would make to the starting lineup that went today?
The only change for me would be putting Garnacho back on the right and playing Zeus in the 10. Right? Playing Bruno back, playing deep with if it's Ugarte or Casemiro. And of course, I don't know what's going on with the centre back with Maguire or Delit, but you will see how that go.
I think I would go a little different. I giving Garnacho a rest. I think Mount's get enough minutes in him to get a start. I would actually start Mount and Zirkzee behind Hoyland in that game. It's time to give Garnacho a rest and let Mount start the game. If he's not looking good, then you have Garnacho to come and run and tire things. So that's the only change I would really. I would obviously that mean Bruno deeper next to Ugarte or Casemiro.
Somebody gotta stop Cherky. Somebody gotta stop him. I agree with JP. I definitely would put Garnacho on the bench. And I want to see Zirkzee start. In terms of the midfield, boy. Oh boy. I don't want to see Bruno in the 10. I want to see Bruno deeper. But then it's like, who do you play next to Zirkzee? Because Hoyland will be up top. Who do you play next to Zirkzee? Boy.
Then you have to go with Mount.
Mount, yeah.
You think
You see a benching Garnacho.
Yeah, but have we seen enough of Mount to say, you know what, this guy should start for us versus Leon? I mean, don't get me wrong, he did have 2 power shots. He did have 2 power shots today and versus Forest that tested the keeper for sure. But that's about it. So okay, if we do go with Mount, then Mount, Zirkzee. And what I like about Mount and Zirkzee is that they're both they're both team players, right? They're not selfish.
Yeah,
They're very unselfish. Yeah, they aren't going to look. They are going to look to bring other players involved, right? And they're going to shoot when necessary, right? And they always arrive in position. But that's the Mason Mount I knew from Chelsea, right? So if we do play Mount and Zirkzee and Hoyland up top, then it's Bruno and unfortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately because Casemiro is in form. Unfortunately, Ugarte got a whole bench on Thursday, right? The only person I'm nervous about is Dorgu. He's the only one I'm nervous about.
Why?
Sorry?
Why?
I think we mentioned earlier in the podcast that he hasn't had a. I don't want to say I don't want to say he didn't. I don't want to say his life to Manchester United has been negative because I mean, he hasn't. You can see there's a player there, but I mean, the red card and not doing much in the final third when delivering a football, trying to shoot and the ball going wide, not testing the keeper. He's the only guy I'm nervous about because I like what I see from the guy, but let's be real, he is the only inexperienced player on our team right now. So you have to be nervous right now. You have to be nervous. I don't see Lenny Euro as Lenny Euro's IQ is covering up his inexperience, if that makes sense, right?
I hardly see an inexperience in Euro. Well, for the last few games, earlier in the season, yes, but for now, I find Emmanuel solid. But
but don't forget this Lenny Euro's first season at Manchester United, 18 years of age, right?
Yeah,
so his IQ and his position is covering up his inexperience, right? Dorgu,
sure.
And I go back to Dorgu. He's the only one I'm a bit nervous about. I'm not skeptical. I'm just a bit nervous, right? And as always, Onana as well too. Onana could be.
But they might get some minutes. I don't know.
Yo, when the season come, right? I going back to the one podcast where y'all guys argue with me talking about Bayern they're going to get minutes if Onana is I can't remember what is that conversation was about. But I going back to that podcast.
Phil, I telling you, if Bayern didn't get injured, I feel we might have seen more Bayern but Bayern injury, that injury is what messed with Bayern. I think Bayern might have get more.
Can we? Okay, so Bayern is back. Can we say that Bayern will no longer play part of Manchester United for the rest of the season?
I struggle to see where Bayern go play.
Correct. Bayern is now a passenger for Manchester United from now to the end of the season, right? But yeah, Dorgu and Onana, they're the guys that I'm a bit nervous about. But yeah, man, I hopefully I can see us drawing that game against Lyon, but I would like a 1-0 win. I would like it, but
yeah, I'm not seeing Lyon beating us, to be honest. Well, I mean, I could be naive, but I think we have a better team.
Yeah. You structure the team. We look like a well-structured team defensively. Yeah. Once we don't make errors, we're not giving team that opportunity.
Yeah, and so that's the last 2 games for us and today.
Yeah.
But we got this guy Turkey, and Reem knows about him. He's one that we gotta stop. He's one that definitely is full of flair, a great pass of the football, but you gotta stop him. You have to. He's one of the guys that's linked with us as well too, and he has some experience, so I take him.
I actually hope Turkey have an off game for the next two match days against us because that you proper. That you's real proper. We will come back here talking about Turkey. Trust me. So I really hope he have an off day. He had 2 off days. But for me, I think Højlund making it by the skin of his teeth. You understand? Simply because we don't have nobody else, right? Because he not offering us anything, not anything at all. I mean, and I think Garnacho play enough football. Right, and I think that tenacity have and that running, and even though you're missing, you're still running. I think that will do well for a player coming off the bench against fellas who tired. It's like them fellas tired and they should say, "Oh God, he coming again," and he fresh. That's how I want Garnacho impact this game, So for me, Garnacho in starting, I go with Xerxes and Mount. Right, I think again with Dalot giving width and Dorgu giving width, I think we should see some better output from the wide players. Right, it's just really for them to want to pass to Hoyland and for Hoyland to really try to, do something like a footballer, And I agree. I think I really hope Amorim don't overthink this fixture again and make the wrong selections just because he think this and he think that, or as Nico said, he don't trust the players. I really hope he don't overthink it, and the selection that he make would be right for a progressive way of football as opposed to just a survival way of football. So that's why I'm hoping.
So who you play in the midfield?
Bruno and Casemiro.
Okay.
Bruno and Casemiro. Just because I think right now Casemiro, confidence and form.
Yeah.
And lastly on this, I think what given Casemiro the edge over Ugarte is the fact that Casemiro better on the ball than Ugarte. And this is what the team needs. So if we could get like a fusion, a Casemiro and Ugarte in the summer, that would be so good. Just as we want a fusion as Xerxes and Hoyland. If we could get those two fusions, I think we could be real good. We could be real good. So yeah. So score predictions. Let me get some score predictions.
Simeon.
No, I mean, I really don't have much to add to that.
Okay.
I mean, I think, team, we have a little bit of options. I mean, not the best options as far as attacking wise, but we have, Mount in there, Xerxes or Erasmus up front. I think, Bruno, I think the thing is what Amorim probably thinking is Bruno going to be, who's going to score the goals?
Yeah.
Bruno's scoring goals right now.
Yeah.
So you want Bruno close to the goal. So that's another thing to think about. So yeah,
But
that's
Bruno
the
was
only.
scoring the goals from the six when he was scoring.
Yeah.
So to me, it doesn't make a difference. Bruno will always, reach in the box. That's just who he is. But go ahead. Sorry.
No. I mean, that's my only thought as far as why Bruno started at 10. But I think we have too many players not scoring and being in the box and just doing nothing. So I think we need somebody. If it's Mount with Xerxes, to he's getting better at his shots. We just need somebody to start finishing. I think we have Heaven back a team, right? Heaven back, yeah. So we should be okay at the back, talent wise. But we just gotta make sure we keep the same intensity we had today. That's the key. Just keep the same kind of form and structure, because I heard that this team is a little bit more quicker and a little bit more powerful.
Real jokes.
Yeah. So
yeah. So fellas, score predictions for the Leon game, first leg, before we wrap it.
2-0 United.
2-0 United. All right. You want to put in goal scorers or no?
Bruno and Hoyland.
Okay. Simeon?
I go 2-1 United. Bruno, gonna keep going, and Garnacho gonna pull one.
Okay, nice. Phil?
Boy, it's either gonna be 1-1 or 1-0 to us. Any 1-1, I got.
This man is a real go safe, boy. Oh God.
I being realistic, boy. Any 1-1, it could be
1-1 or 1-0 or 2-1 or 2-0,
Yeah. 1-1. Who will score for us, boy? I guess Casemiro will score for us. And then it could be a Maguire on goal.
Hey.
Yeah, and anyone 1-0, yeah, still Casemiro will score for us. I would be very surprised.
I was really waiting because you say 1-1 and 1-0, and you're gonna name the scorer now. So I was like, that means you're gonna name the scorer for your next team, but you already did. Hey.
JP?
I think we're taking it 2-0. We're 2-0 Bruno, and Bruno and Xerxes.
All right, I go in 3-0. Right, 2 penalties for Bruno, and who will get the third one? But our Mount get something. Right, Mount suffer away for too long. Our Mount get something. Mount suffer away for a real long.
I like how you said 3-0, but you kind of said 2 penalties, so that kind of makes sense. I know we are scoring 3 goals for open play. I'm sorry.
How much penalty we score against Sociedad in the return leg?
Yeah.
Was it 2 or 3 here?
Yeah. So 2 penalties what Bruno go take and Mount gonna give you something, right? I tell you, Mount only cartel, right?
Yeah.
And if you're starting, you had to give me something, right?
Yeah.
So that's so yeah. So guys, again, it was a quiet put in the comment section, but that's what it is sometimes. But I mean, we always, we like to talk about football, so it was enjoyable nonetheless. The result wasn't as positive as we'd wanted, especially after the fact.
But and not as bad as it could have been.
It could have been, yeah. It was the last Manchester derby for Kevin De Bruyne, so we certainly ain't gonna miss he, right? Because of course we real paid in the past, but I mean,
it will be better for we if you are still around. Because the form I see today.
No, but the thing was this, Pep not gonna start De Bruyne when that team improve, so it ain't been not,
Mm-hmm.
So So I mean, it is what it is, guys. We will be here again on Tuesday to review the Lyon game, we cup final. I mean, all we banking real heavy on this Europa League, so I really hope that them fellas and them, motivate themselves to play Real Lyon or Barca Lyon or wherever. You understand? Because we need best performance today. I mean, Thursday and next Thursday, because we really want to see it and make it to the next round, semi-finals, I think. All right?
Yeah.
So, whoever Amorim had to do, whoever you had to get them to drink, whoever, all your fellas organize all yourself.
I want a prediction for the hit along as well, too.
Who, Arsenal or Real Madrid?
Correct. I want a prediction for that.
Arsenal winning 1 then.
What?
Yeah, so maybe that.
Nah, Arsenal beating Real.
I want them to beat them.
Arsenal beating Real.
What?
After Real knock out Arsenal, right? Then our Real gets the skin cut.
Correct, yeah.
I cannot handle Arsenal and the fan base to even score 1 goal against Real Madrid.
But Arsenal fans talking about what happened the last time Arsenal meet Real Madrid. That time you got digging crates and beer nests to find out.
Anyway, fellas. So Nico, Sibian, JP, Phil, it was nice, guys. Those in the comments, we do thank you for the engagement. And even those who watching it delayed, still comment, still like, still share up the thing, right? And don't forget, guys, we also on YouTube, so subscribe on that side if you haven't already. Have a good night, fellas. See you on the next one.